Welcome to Click for Biology. We're studying the structure of the central nervous system. The central nervous system is composed primarily of the brain and of the spinal cord. That's what makes up our central nervous system. The central nervous system is responsible for coordinating our response to stimulus in the environment and the response that we make to that. We do have, emerging from the central nervous system, but not part of the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, which is made up of the sensory and motor neurons, which come from our sense organs and go out to our muscles. In this video, we're primarily focusing on the central nervous system. As mentioned, the syllabus statement is that the central nervous system is composed of the brain and of the spinal cord, and students should be aware that biologically these are one structure. We should not think of them as being two parts. They develop embryonically as one structure. Now, if we think of the characteristic of life, which is sensitivity, you might try to recall what the definition of that. We are responding, so that's an important part, responding to changes in the environment. Now, for that to be possible, we need to be able to detect the changes in the environment, and that is the role of our receptors. The kinds of change in the environment are known as stimuli. So these could be light, temperature, various forms of pressure, and of course chemical stimuli in the environment. For each of these stimuli, we have a number of receptors. Of course, primarily the receptor of light is the eye. Temperature is largely detected by the skin, if we're thinking of external temperatures. Pressure comes in a number of different forms and would include sound, and so therefore we would have the ear. But if we are talking about touching objects, then we would move to the skin. Chemicals, of course, are both in our nose from smell, so we could put our nose as the receptor, and of course taste and the tongue would be another type of stimulus. The receptors are here, and so the stimuli, they will cause the receptor to generate a nerve impulse. This electrical nerve impulse travels along nerves to the central nervous system. These nerves are called sensory nerves. And so the nerve impulse will travel in this direction from the receptor to the central nervous system. The brain or the spine will then take a decision about what the response to that stimulus will be, and will then rapidly generate an impulse which will then travel along a motor nerve, and that will go out to what we call our effectors, and these take the forms of muscles and glands, and the movement created in the muscles or the secretion from the gland is our response to the change in the environment. And this response could be something as simple as a reflex, or there are, of course, more complex forms of behavior, such as the one you're using right now in your learning. The speed of conduction of these nerve impulses is extremely rapid, in the order of 100 meters per second traveling times, very, very fast. In the next video, we're going to look at an example of such response to the environment in a reflex, a very simple form of behavior. So there's the link to click to that video, and of course, if you haven't done so already, please smash the subscribe.